How can you tell if your summer fling is the real thing following Stampede? Sometimes that happens. Romance is in the air, and Krystal Walter joins us this morning, a professional matchmaker here to crack the code for us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, love is in the air. It is summer, and Stampede is come and gone. Yeah. And so how can we tell if it's a real thing and actually has potential to be a relationship and not just a fling?
Well, some of them have probably already fizzled,
right,
and you haven't heard from them. And I guess the number one thing would be, what time of day do you hear from them? What type of dates are you having? What time of day do you see them? So are you getting away from the pub scene? Are you having like one-on-one dates, meeting friends, and, you know, doing activities together, not just drinking? And
right,
yeah,
right. It goes beyond that. Go figure. Yeah. So what are some of the cues that you could actually be having a successful relationship?
You know, if they're communicative with you, if they're checking in on you, you don't have to be texting all day because that's a bit much. People are working now. But if they're checking on you, making a plan with you, not just waiting till last minute and coming over super late at night, or, you know, you should be having dinner dates that are planned, or lunch dates or coffee dates that are planned, not just
actual conversations. Actual
conversations, and, you know, getting to know each other. You know their last name, you know.
Yeah. These things are important. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, and I mean, you know, the great thing about Stampede is it's sort of built-in activity, so you end up kind of meeting up and having these experiences. But what do you think are good experiences for people to have, to go on dates and to actually get out and experience the city?
You know what? It's super nice to go down by the river right now. You could go floating. I mean, that could also be a group thing where there's drinking involved too, but you could make it more intimate where it's just the two of you and you're not drinking and you're talking, and just go for a walk. Do something where you're not sitting down drinking.
Right. Because that can be an easy go-to, can't it?
It's super easy, and then, you know, it goes from there. You know, if you run into people, you know, Calgary's like that, and then it's a group thing, or your friends are coming. So just stick to something that's one-on-one, but outside, it's nice. So just get to know each other that way.
Yeah, actually get to know each other.
Cooking, you could go to a cooking class, or just...
Yeah, no, I love that idea. That's great. But that's just it, because a shared experience is what's going to build the relationship.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how about getting forward and moving forward? I have a note here on meeting the parents. Is it time for that yet?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on the couple and how it progressed, and are you really getting to know each other, and is it getting to that stage? Then maybe, sure. But I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'd be waiting a good 6 months before that happened.
Okay.
But to each their own.
That's the marker.
So, yeah, I'd say at least.
And what are the cues that, I mean, there's a book that was going around a handful of years ago, He's Just Not That Into You. Yeah. So what are the cues that he's just not that into you, or maybe she's just not that into you?
You know, that was a good book. But I will say that that isn't always the case, because you can't read tone or emotion in text or emails and social media, and that is a huge way for communicating. So you need to kind of just see how they are one-on-one sober, and, you know, then you can see. But if somebody doesn't ask you out, if somebody isn't checking on you, then obviously they're not into you. Like,
right.
Not showing up and saying, what are you doing at 9 o'clock at night? They need to ask you out on a real date.
Yeah.
So, and make an effort. You got to make an effort to get to know somebody, not just the guy, but the girl too. You got to
get to the point of 50-50.
Yes, 50-50, and if they're not putting in their 50%, then they're not into you.
Right. It's not always a chase.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But you should read that book, actually, because it's
some good basics. Some good basics, and especially when you're decoding text, because, as you say, so much interpretation can go into that.
Yeah, texting's terrible. Don't text until you know them. That's my #1 rule. So.
Really? Do you suggest people pick up the phone and
You always call, make a date, and you do not text until after, like, the 3rd date, because you need to know their humor and how they communicate to understand how they're texting you. Otherwise, you're reading into it, and you're getting emotional or upset, or you think it's funny when it's not. Like, everybody has a different level of sarcasm.
Right.
So don't text until you know them.
Aha. Yeah. Old school. Pick up the phone, make a date, spend time, take a walk. Sobriety is key.
Yes. And if anybody does want any more dating tips, I mean, we have a coach too. You can go to my website, krystalwalter.com, and I mean, we have a group to help you. So.
Okay, there you go. If you're struggling in the dating world, thank you so much. Those are great tips. And I mean, Andy, once you get outside of Stampede, it's a whole other world. Well, I think